Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hotsport for my third video, my third match previews. This is actually more of the match preview of any, or week preview of any of my videos that I do. The other ones are more of like recaps to the other ones. But anyway, this is Upset Alert. Make sure you are liking, make sure you are subscribing to the channel, to Hotsport. And again, I will plug, this time Cal is not sitting next to me like he was in the other two videos. I got to plug Fire Them Cannons, the Arsenal podcast. For the Gooners out there, make sure you check out Fire Them Cannons. You saw Cal. That kid is absolute gold. I wouldn't say kid. He's probably similar age to me. Absolute gold. Go check out his channel as well. I appreciate him coming for my other two videos, but now it's just me and you boys, and we're going to preview some of these matches on this segment, which of course is Upset Alert. Okay, guys. How about we bring up the old Upset Alert graphic? You guys nervous? You guys nervous if I put your team on Upset Alert this weekend? The Upset Alert monster comes, and guess what? We've been pretty damn good. I don't want to brag, but we've been pretty good on these. Last week, we told you the demise of Liverpool was coming, that Crystal Palace would come and pull up the upset. Well, what happened? My boy, Eddie Nketiah, delivered for his former club, really, as he, gave Liverpool their first loss of the season. And I told you, I did Arsenal on Upset Alert, right? But it was not easy. Like, we played very, very well, and we were down 1-0 until the very late stages of the game. We pulled that one out of the bag. I said it would be a difficult one. We always struggled there, but I'm so happy that the Arsenal pulled that off. So yeah, we're feeling good about ourselves recently. So we thought we'd try our luck here with 3 more, and we'll do this time. We'll do our 3 Upset Alert ones before we preview the rest of the fixtures. First up on the Upset Alert, guys, it had to be Tottenham, of course. It was Tottenham. And now a lot of people are going to be like, well, Spurs against Leeds, you're really pulling at strings here. Have you seen the odds? At the moment, there is 8 cents separating Leeds and Spurs in the market. Ellen Road is not an easy place to go and play. Now, if this game was in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I wouldn't even be looking at this in Upset Alert at all. But a newly promoted side like Leeds, who are, by the way, the champions of the championship last year, the championship champions, how about that? And they've got some good results this season at Ellen Road. Like, they've beaten Everton at Ellen Road. I believe they beat, the last time they played Ellen Road 2 weeks ago, of course, my favorite player, Anton Stack. Now, that was away. They got a 3-0 at Wolves. They got a draw against Newcastle at home. So, like, again, a 0-0 draw in the early fixture. But yeah, lunchtime fixtures always are really tricky. You saw last week when Man United got obliterated by Brentford. Boy, did we not see that one coming. We were confident United win, weirdly. I don't know what it is. It just feels like at one point they're going to stop falling off a cliff. and I'm like, I want to be there when it happens, but it clearly hasn't happened yet. Anyway, back to Spurs and Leeds. Look, Spurs have had some funny results recently. Like last week, obviously they had a draw against Wolves, aforementioned Wolves, right? They had a draw the weekend before at Brighton, which, by the way, we called on Upset Alert. So this is one of those tricky fixtures. I think it throws up early kickoff. Kicks off in about 2 hours from recording time. Yeah, I think Leeds could pull up an upset. It's a place where Tottenham might drop points. Now, like, Cal was pretty convinced that Spurs were probably going to win this game when we spoke earlier. I held my thoughts on that, obviously, because we've got this coming up, this segment. Yeah, I think there's potential. Again, as I said, when it comes to upset alert, it's not saying that it's going to happen. It means that you are on alert. But there's a potential there of it happening. And yeah, Spurs got to be watching out. It's a tricky game. All right, next up on the list, Chelsea. Chelsea hosting Liverpool. And look, I just got to be honest. I'm going to continue kind of what I've said over the last two videos. I just don't know if Chelsea is ready for Liverpool. But again, Liverpool's form hasn't been that good either. This could really be the game that Liverpool step into the gears here, and that we might end up taking Isak off of the list. I mean, he has to. I feel like he's got no other way to go other than hitting the score sheet. Otherwise, wow. I mean, it'd be nuts. But yeah, they have a poor record overall at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, at the end of the day, are still. I feel like they're going to be up for the challenge. They're not going to underestimate Liverpool, maybe the way they underestimated United. I think being at home at Stamford Bridge, where it's very the stadium is the pitch is smaller and more condensed than it is in Anfield, and it has always sort of worked in Chelsea's favor, especially in some of these bigger games. So it's a tricky fixture. Again, Chelsea are ravaged in terms of injuries and red cards and the availability of specific defenders. So they're going to be light at the back, which should work into Liverpool's advantage. But Liverpool, for instance, played Galatasaray in the middle of the week, right? And I don't think Galatasaray's defenders are elite by any way. They had Davidson Sanchez used to play for Spurs reject in there, and they also couldn't score against them. So it depends if Liverpool are able to figure things out. Are they able to stop overthinking sort of the game and just lean on what they do well? Or are Chelsea also going to stay disciplined, 3 straight red card games? So it's going to be a really interesting game. I think it's going to be the game of the week, the one that I think by a long shot everyone's looking forward to. But given the form of Chelsea, I thought that it was appropriate. Now, this is 3 weeks in a row, by the way, I put Liverpool on upset alert, which is insane. But it tells you a lot about kind of where Liverpool are form-wise at the moment. I've always kind of felt like they were teetering on the edge. But again, the same could be said in the reverse. So maybe now that they have eventually just kind of ended up not capitalizing and falling off, and they can learn from those mistakes and they can start to fix it. Or it usually takes a loss to start addressing issues. One thing I'm actually a little bit, this is going to sound weird, but I'm a little bit grateful for is that Arsenal dropped points, but they was against Liverpool and City. So and there were clear reasons for our performances in that Arteta could fix, which is, I think, why Arsenal's now the game is starting to come together. Our style of play is starting to come together. So I think it's been a good thing. Liverpool still kind of need to figure that out now in this early season with all their new signings. We're hearing a lot of stuff about transition years and all this stuff. I think that's a load of BS for a team that had spent 250 on 2 players, broke the transfer record twice. Are meant to be favorites by a long shot. I'm not having that. I'm not having that for Liverpool. But yeah, I expect Liverpool to win this one actually this week. That's what my gut tells me. But if Chelsea take anything out of this game, boys and girls, Arsenal will be top of the league. So I had to put that in there as well, by the way. Moving on to our third one. And this was, you're going to be like, what? What is this? I have got Crystal Palace on upset alert. And look, let's give respect to the Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Not those Eagles, the Crystal Palace Eagles. They've got 18 games unbeaten. They beat Liverpool, by the way, twice this year. Once at Wembley, once at home at Selhurst Park, of course, last weekend. They also won in the Europa League in the middle of the week. But there's something about, by the way, they're going away to Everton, and just there's something about Everton. I feel like, by the way, the bookies have Everton as the like. This is why me and the bookies have a different idea of what favorite is. So they'll throw in like the odds, and they're like, okay, I think this is the favorite to win this particular game, but I don't see them as the favorite overall when you look at these two teams. So Everton are 250, Crystal Palace are 290. So this is one of the reasons why I brought this on. Like I gotta be honest, a lot of my upset alert stuff is because I keep track of the market, the betting markets, and what the betting markets are saying. And the betting markets are saying that Everton should be fancied at home here against Crystal Palace. And will it be like, again, for upset alert, because I put Crystal Palace on upset alert, a draw would count as the upset alert. The upset, like drop points, of course, is what we're trying to look here. For those who have been, here on the upset alert this far into the season, after 7 weeks, you should know that by now. That's what the definition is for me here in terms of the Premier League upset alert. So, yeah, that's kind of it. I think Everton are sort of due a win. Like, I don't think they've been playing that bad. They were 1-0 up last week against West Ham. They didn't do it. The week before that, I thought they played really well at Anfield as well. Remember when I put Liverpool? That was the first upset alert for Liverpool. I believe I had, not the first one this season, because I did the Newcastle earlier on in the year. But that's just sort of what I had for this. Anyway, guys, that is this video. That has been this video. Let me know what you all think. Actually, we're not done. But firstly, still, let me know what you think about, do you think these are good candidates to be upset alert? Name me anybody else you think might be upset. We're going to go through some of the other fixtures, kind of what the betting markets think. Now, in the midweek games, I think here's the thing. The bookies are very convinced that Man United are going to win. They got Man United at 150, the Sunderland 550, the draw they have at 433. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Man United win. We're doing this again. I don't know why, but just eventually, like, I just thinking that the statement put out by United about Amarin means, I think this, and they say the players still play for him. So let's see if they can respond for their manager. They're going to be at home at Old Trafford. They better go ahead and get that done. I think they're going to get it done. Arsenal against West Ham, of course. I will be watching that. I will be live on the football terrace once more for my match reaction on this game. I will not be on for the Tottenham one because I gotta be watching Arsenal. I might be chatting about Spurs while my team is going. No way. Sorry, Terry. Sorry, Terry, if you're watching. But yeah, I've got Arsenal winning, and I've said it on all my podcasts. I'm a little bit less conservative, a little bit less afraid in my predictions. I've gone with a 6-0 Arsenal. It will probably be less than that in reality, but that's just sort of what I've gone for. But yeah, I just think the main idea is I think this will be Arsenal's going to click. I think this is going to be a game of beauty. I've told everybody. I've told my girlfriend, like, watch the game this week. There will be a lot of goals from the Gunners. So I've literally told everybody and their dog, my dog included, that I think Arsenal are going to be comfortably winning against West Ham. So another one, we're going to be talking, by the way, these games are tomorrow, so there's not many games today. So you got, there's only 4 games on the schedule, Saturday schedule. Spurs, these are all pretty good ones. You got Arsenal, West Ham, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. 4 really good games on a Saturday. This is a good Super Saturday. Forget Super Sunday. Super Saturday this week. Now, moving on to the Sunday games. We got 4 going on at the same time at lunchtime, midnight for me, so it's like a 3 p.m. kickoff on Sunday. Villa hosting Burnley. The bookies say 155, so given that but they're not on upset alert, you know that I'm going with Villa in this game. We've also mentioned Crystal Palace game. We've gone with at least a draw or an Everton win in this game. Um, one second, because here we go. Sorry about that, peeps. Wolves will get hosting Brighton. I'm going to go with a Brighton win. I mean, I've got Wolves at the bottom of the tiers. I got Brighton pushing the top of the tiers. You know, this is a game I think Brighton should win even away from home. I like Brighton in this one. Newcastle against Nottingham Forest, guys. This is going to be a Newcastle win. They have to absolutely. I was muted. Okay. Next matchup. The last matchup of the weekend. I've got Manchester City going to Brentford and beating. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the last one. Yeah, as I said, Manchester City. I have them winning against Brentford. I know they beat the other team in Manchester, but let's be honest, United aren't anywhere near Manchester City right now. Anyway, that is the video for today. Sorry for all the ups and downs towards the end of this video, but make sure you're liking and make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy. As I say at the end of this segment every single week, enjoy the action. Of course, it starts tonight, Australia time for me. For all you all watching back in the UK, of course, it's a lunchtime kickoff. Tottenham against Leeds. Then you got the Arsenal game and the Man United game happening at the same time. And then afterwards, of course, light night tonight, Liverpool against Chelsea. So it's going to be a really, really good Super Saturday, as I was calling it today. Anyway, guys, take care, everybody. Anton out.